Hello, everybody. It's Donna Cravata, and we are back again for the 99th interview. I cannot believe it. So today we have Rhonda Berns, and I'm just going to do a quick introduction, and then we are going to get into a conversation. Rhonda has over 30 years experience in sales leadership, marketing, public relations, advertising, and operational experience in highly competitive marketplaces and often economically challenged locations. Through her Your Simplified Sales training program and her coaching, she empowers clients with results-focused sales strategies and processes. These processes and sales strategies have been acquired through owning 3 successful small businesses, managing multi-million-dollar budgets for national hotel chains, nonprofits, and leading successful sales and marketing teams. But what I think is truly special about Rhonda's work is that she brings sales concepts and theories to life. She shares real-life case studies and examples of lessons and best practices that have been acquired from her own personal successes and failures. And I don't believe in failures. I believe in lessons. These stories hold the best practices and the valuable lessons, and they are the catalyst to understanding and successfully implementing essential sales concepts. And this work is so important because so many of us, we're not salespeople. We weren't trained in sales, but once you own your own business, everything that you do is a sale, everything. And welcome. Let's talk sales and how to make this non-icky.
And I love that. And thank you for having me be here, Don. I know it's been a long time in the making, and we had a chance to meet probably a year and a half ago. And so I'm absolutely thrilled to be here today with you to talk about sales, because when you mention the word icky, it's amazing how many people I talk to. And that's one of the first things they come up with. They're like, I don't like sales. I'm not comfortable with it. It's icky. I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be that pushy salesperson. And that is furthest from the truth. That's probably one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about sales. And what we do is we have these negative stereotypes, right? We think about the used sales car person who is going to try to sell us the car that we don't want or we don't need. And that's what people think about. They think about people that are transactional, or people that don't listen, or people that don't care about us and they're just trying to make the sale. What I want to help people understand is that sales can be and should be about building relationships.
Yeah.
When you have a product or service that's going to benefit someone and help somebody, what you want to do is be able to find those people who need you the most and go out and find them and start a conversation and learn about them and understand what makes them tick. What are they trying to achieve? What are they trying to do? What's going on in their business? And how can your product or service help them achieve their goals? When we think about customer centric and we think about relationship based or buyer first, there's a ton of names that people throw out. That's about putting our customers ahead of our own need to make a sale. And that's where the biggest misconception is. We don't go out to make a sale. And if you can change your mindset and start thinking about, how do I find those people that need me the most? And then how do I start to have that conversation and build that relationship and find out more about them? That's when the magic starts to happen. And it's not easy, because I think that's the other part. I think people see successful salespeople and it's like, oh, that looks really easy, until exactly what you said, Donna. Until we go out and have to do it, then you're like, wow, this isn't easy. This isn't working. I'm not liking this. I'm going to use your word. It's kind of icky.
Yeah, it is. And I approach marketing from the same way. You know, I have 2 camps. There's the male bun marketing bro tactic. And then there's the relationship building tactic, which isn't a tactic. It's like when you build the relationships, the sales just happen. You're not selling anymore. You've built a relationship with somebody that has come to know and trust you, and they know what you do for a living, and they know that they like you, and they they want you in their world. So if you have what they need, why would they hire somebody else? And I've had clients tell me that for years. Like, of course I'm hiring you. Like, why would I go anywhere else? I need what you have, you know? And this is how I've expanded my business through the years, because whatever clients needed, if it was within my area of expertise or something I was interested in learning, I would expand my business that way, because they need something. If I could provide it to them, sure, I'll change my services. Um, and I don't think a lot of people take that approach.
And I love that what you said too. And I don't I feel that I bring a different way of being in sales and approaching sales. Probably a lot more feminine, because I was pushed into a male dominated sales environment for so many years, and I clashed with that when it was
Yeah.
all about the numbers and pounding, make the phone calls, just make the phone calls, just get on the calls, just make those calls. To
Mhm.
me, that's not what it was about. To me, it was about making the phone call and spending time to get to know the person on the other end.
Yes.
Whether they were
Yes.
gonna do business with me or not, it didn't matter. If I could make a new connection, to me, that was the prize.
That was,
It was in
yeah.
it was in such conflict with the corporate world that actually catalyzed me into creating my own business, because I wanna teach people, a different way of coming out and having sales be based on integrity, based on trust, based on honesty. And I will tell you, I've met with people who I would love to do business with, but the timing wasn't right, or I wasn't the right fit at that moment. And that's where I collaborate and spend time meeting with amazing people like you, Don, and the people that you are networking with, because then I can refer them and say, you know what, I would love to work with you, but I think you need to work with this person for at least 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
Get some of this under your belt. And then once you know what you're doing, then we can talk about who's your ideal client and how are we going to go reach them by
Yeah.
using an authentic, your own voice, not creating some, one size fits all script to go out and talk to everybody the same way. That just doesn't feel good. And it's just, I can't do it. I mean, all of my clients are unique, every one of them. And
Mhm.
we need to learn to be more of a chameleon, to show up to help our clients feel most comfortable.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's just so different from what the traditional, I like what you kind of said, kind of the bro approach, to just go out and just make the sale.
It's not about that, because that's how you get one sale.
Right.
That's how you
Yeah.
get one sale, not
Yeah.
how
I
you
used
get a client for life.
I used to say that to I had a number of sales teams that I was just honored to be the leader of the team. I mean, you're only as good as the people on your team, but I was honored to be there. And we used to say that all the time. The first time you got a client, it might have been timing or luck. You were in the right place at the right time. And maybe you did all the things that you needed to do to get them to come and book with you, or give you that contract. The true test of success, in my opinion, is when they called you back to book you a second time, or when they send someone who they care about, when they send you a referral for someone that they care about to do business with you. To me, that was when we knew that we were successful. When we started getting leads coming in and someone saying, "Hey, Donna told me to give you a call. She wants to work, she told me that I had to work with you because you have what we need." When
Yeah.
people are out advocating for you and selling you and you're not in the same room, to me, that's the sign of success.
And you can't automate that.
Mm-mm, you cannot.
You just cannot automate that. And just to kind of bring it into a base of reality, I think between, technology tools and everybody, like, scrambling for the next best thing and diving headfirst into the pool of bright and shinies, we forget to take a moment to stop and think about what we really need.
Mhm,
Like, how many clients do you actually need? How many can you handle?
mhm.
So, like, start there.
Yeah, yeah,
Start there, and it simplifies everything. I mean, that's like the second question I ask people when I work with them. Like, what do you actually need?
right.
And it's the first time they've ever thought of it.
Yeah, I ask the same question. One of the first questions I do with all of my coaching clients, and even with anyone who goes through any of my sales training program, who is your ideal client?
Mhm.
Who is that person? Who is that business? What does that look like? So often when I ask people, who's your ideal client? Well, anybody can buy from me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, anyone can, but I don't know about you, but I don't have unlimited resources, time, money, and I don't have a huge team to go out and like market to everybody.
I
So
don't have the patience for everybody.
more patience, exactly. So who is your ideal client? And that's the first question, whether you're doing marketing
Mhm.
or you're doing sales, you
Yeah.
have to know who your ideal client is. Why
Mhm.
did you start your business? Right? What was the purpose? Why did you start it? And then I love yours about growth isn't necessarily going to get you to success, right? So sometimes you have to stay within your wheelhouse and where you are doing an incredible job and expand on that. Like I feel like taking my ideal client and dissecting that and figuring out exactly who they are. And then I just find more of them. I mean,
Yeah,
if
or
it fits for
something
them,
else
it's
they
going to fit.
need. Or
Exactly.
something else they need. They will tell you what they need. I
Exactly.
honestly, in my business, and I'm 18 years in now, every new product service I've ever offered has been something that somebody asked for.
Exactly.
Because they were like, "I need this. Do you know somebody?" I was like, "I could do that for you." They're like,
Yeah.
"Really? Even better." And, I built whole programs based on that.
Yeah.
And,
And
the
that's
one of
how,
the things
okay.
yeah, I think we can have a really interesting
Yeah.
conversation about is bringing this approach, but the difference between sales and marketing, because I think that
Yes.
that's a misconception as well. People think they're one and the same, and they're not.
Or they think sales is social media. I've asked people, "What are you
Okay, all
doing for
right.
sales?" I'm like, "Oh, we do social media." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. Oh,
Marketing warms up the clientele and gives information out. Social media is sending out messaging.
mhm.
Sales brings in the actual contract and brings the deal to life,
And
makes it
and
happen.
the buzzword of "do social media" is a clear red flag.
Yes. Yeah, I do social media. That's my sales. That's what I do for sales. Or
When
they think they don't have to do marketing
yeah.
or other marketing or go out and actually network and sell and actually have the conversation. No, don't get me wrong. There are companies and businesses that can just do their 100% of their business online on
A
through social media.
and they're primarily products, not services.
Exactly. But the
Yeah.
majority of us need to have a combination of a good marketing plan, a good business plan. You need to have a sales action plan and know your sales process on how you're actually going to have to go out and have those conversations and build that rapport and how to ask the right questions and how to negotiate and how to, this is my favorite one because most people are terrified of it. How do you talk about price?
Yeah.
And then how do you actually ask for the sale? Because when I talk to people, they're passionate about what they do, right? They have amazing products. I mean, I work with just some of the most amazing, brilliant people. But when we talk about going out and having a sales conversations, they're terrified. And it's not because they don't know how, it's not because they don't want to do a good job or they don't want to do it. They just have never been given the framework or a roadmap to follow and taught the skills to be able to go out and have a full conversation for sales versus marketing versus how do I post something up on Facebook and LinkedIn. So all of those things have to happen at the same time in order to be good at your own business and be successful.
Mhm. Yeah, totally. Um, and and I'd like to add one more plan onto that, a PR plan,
Oh, yes.
because I as a small or solo business owner, it's critical, it's not optional.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I love most about the work that I do is I teach people to do this for themselves.
Mhm.
And it's so incredibly empowering
Yeah.
and confidence building, which helps with the sales process because when you feel empowered and you can actually share your message and other people get excited about it, excited enough to share it with their audience, that
Mhm.
gives you the confidence to now go have a sales discussion in a totally different way. It
Yeah.
really does change who you are fundamentally to be able to be seen by other people.
Confidence is a big deal. No one's going to buy from you if you're not confident about the product or service that you have, or if you're not confident in your ability to talk about your own business and what you do and what you're bringing to the table. So I talk about that a lot in all my courses and all my coaching. It's about being confident. It's also about being effective and creating a way so people can go out and be more comfortable, more confident, and more effective when you're out having those. And I just call them conversations. Take the pressure off yourself. Go out and have those conversations with people. And you do have to get the word out. And when you have it and take the pressure off of the person you're talking to, because if you're out there trying to sell everybody and
Yeah.
you're pushing the sale over and over and over again, people are automatically going to push you out. So when we talk about those stereotypes, they do push salespeople out because you're pushing your sales in their face
Yeah, and their
versus
first reaction is, "Oh, what is she selling me now?"
right. It's like, oh, get away, get away. But
Yeah.
what if you showed up with confidence, with a comfort level of knowing that your goal is to show up and find out about the other person? I quote Stephen Covey in all of my training and all of my conversations, and he wrote that book, The 7 Habits of
Mhm.
Highly Effective People. And the phrase that has stuck with me since the day I started doing sales, and I've read his book years and years ago, and I've used this all the time, is seek first to understand, then to be understood. And in a sales environment, when you're talking to clients, don't hit them with the sales pitch. Don't hit them
Yeah.
like everyone always says, do you have a sales script? I'm like, no, I need you to go out, talk to your clients, find out what they need. Then I'll help you create all of your features and benefits that you're going to offer. And then you're going to customize your script or your presentation based on what the client just told you, what they
Mhm.
needed, they wanted, and they're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
But if we don't take the time to understand what they need before we start throwing things at them, we're just going to bombard them and scare the bejesus out of them, and they're gone. They're not going to
They
pay
can,
attention
and
to you
once they're
anymore.
gone, they're gone. They don't come
Exactly.
back. They don't come back. If you turn them off for some reason, they don't come back.
They
And
don't.
and it's the same thing with PR.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similar pathways, and, people wanna jump right into PR, but that's the last thing we get to, because you have to have all of the other pieces in place. You have to understand your story. You have to understand your audience. You have to have places for them to go find you. And then and you have to have, like, services and ways to connect with people and how to bring this increased visibility into the sales cycle. Otherwise, it just kind of hits a dead wall. So, like, that,
Yeah.
making that path from the marketing, from the PR, from the visibility pieces into the sales, it needs to be graceful and it needs to be thoughtful. And you are not the person that needs to be the focus.
And that's why a lot of times I push people back when they're like, "Oh, I just want to start doing sales." And I'm like,
No.
"I would
They
love to work with you, but you need to go back and write your business plan. You need to go out and have a conversation. You need to do your marketing. You need to understand who your ideal clients are. You need to start thinking about." You mentioned story. What is your story? What's the story that you're going to tell? And how are you going to connect with these people? And knowing that. And so a lot of times I do push people back. I'm like, go do the pre-work. Take the time. Sit down, think about what that is. If you want to truly be out there, confident, you talked about confidence, right? In order to be confident, you have to be secure in your story. You need to know why. I quote Simon Sinek all the
Yeah,
time. I've
absolutely.
read the why, I talk about the why, I show the video on the why. Like, you know, I know I help people become empowered to be able to go out and share their brilliance with the world and become successful salespeople that are confident and effective at what they do. That's why I do what I do.
Mhm.
I just happen to be a sales coach and
Yeah,
trainer to help them get there. But my why I'm doing this because I want to share this and I want to help solopreneurs and entrepreneurs and people that have been thrown into sales just like I was when I was 20, right? I
mhm.
was like 20 years old and I had the gift of gab, which I'm pretty comfortable. I was working at the front desk of hotels. So talking to strangers was no problem. But I had the same misconception I talked about. I went into sales thinking it was easy.
Yeah.
And my first hotel job as sales, they didn't give me any training. They just said they gave me a tour of the hotel, threw a bunch of
Yeah.
brochures at me, gave me a list of clients, a desk, and a phone, and said, "Good luck. I'll see you on Friday
Smile
when
and
you."
dial.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, my second week of work, we went on a sales blitz. I didn't even know much about the hotel, and I'm driving around downtown Boston making sales calls.
Mhm.
Looking back at it, I was not making sales calls. I was chit-chatting with people. I was having conversations with them, but not good ones. And it wasn't until I did this for 3 years, and what I realized is that um, I was not doing what I needed to do. I was getting so frustrated. I needed training, and when I changed jobs 3 years later, the first thing this my new boss did was put me through sales training, and the whole world just opened up. I'm like, "You mean to tell me there's a framework? You mean to tell me there's a process? You mean if I take it step by step, I'm gonna get more sales?" Because what
Yeah.
I was doing is I was having conversations, but I wasn't qualifying my clients.
Well, you didn't know.
I didn't know, right? We
You
don't know
were
what we
you were
don't know
you were
sometimes.
guessing. You were guessing,
Exactly.
and
So
you're getting
training
some
changed my
serious
life.
love here too.
What's that?
You're getting some serious love
Oh,
from
from
the audience, Patricia Sears and Beth Naus.
oh,
Yeah, and
one
here's
of my
the
favorite
thing
people.
too, it's like when I had a job, they did the same thing to me. I was
Yeah,
doing organizational design. I had no idea what I was doing. But they were sending me this major law firm with offices all over the world was
yeah,
sending me all over the world to figure out what worked and what didn't work and how to fix it. I had no idea what I was doing, but I did it and I was successful. And when I quit my job and started to learn more about the world because I'd worked there for 25 years,
yeah.
um, I realized, oh, I thought that they were paying me well. They should have been paying me like $150,000 a year more.
Mhm.
But I took all of that experience and I brought it into what I do. And now I understand. And, a big
Yeah,
part of that is frameworks because when you have a framework for whatever it is that you can do, you can put anything into that framework and funnel it through.
yeah, and make it your own. That was the catalyst, almost 6 years ago now, hard to believe, is when I jumped out because I had realized I was working with the Vermont Convention Bureau, and I was running the tourism division for the Chamber of Commerce. So I was working with businesses across the state, and what I realized is, again, all of these amazing people were out there trying to sell their products and services, but didn't have the sales acumen to be able to go out and be successful at it. So they were scrambling a little bit. So I created my business specifically for that. And that's how I developed the programs that I did because I saw the opportunity to be able to help so many people
Mhm.
understand what they could do because we're not born knowing how to sell, just like
No,
anyone's born knowing how to. Well,
it's
some people are pretty
anything.
good
Yeah.
at natural, but whether you're a musician or you want to ski or you play golf, you have to learn those skills.
Yeah.
And then you have to incorporate and make them your own and start to
Mhm.
really practice them on a regular basis to be good at it. And it was important to me to be able to give back. And I saw so many people that were amazing that needed the help. And that's why I started my business. And
Mhm.
knowing that I could take all these years of experience and put it into an I won't say easy, I'm going to say simplified because that's what I did. I created a simplified program to walk them through so that they could create their own path through their own sales experience and come out the other side feeling confident and being able
Mhm.
to go out effectively have those conversations. So, yeah, I'm having a blast. I'm loving what I'm doing. I was meant to be here right now, and this is where I'm supposed to be.
So now there's something that comes to mind now, um, because this is the real 50 over 50, and I'm guessing you also work with quite a few women over the age of 50.
Yes.
Um, how does like the whole fear and uncomfortable factor fit in for women over 50? Is it different? Does it change, or is like the process different, or like the way they react?
What's interesting is because, of course, I'm over 50. But yes, I believe culturally, when we go back to think about where we were when we started our careers and when we started moving through the processes, women have been treated very differently in the business world. And I believe using our more feminine side, using that vulnerability, using that relationship based is an asset and not a liability. And going through the business world, and I believe most of the women that I work with are the same way, that softness, that caring, that compassion, that wanting to help other people was not applauded.
No.
It was looked down on, like, "You're being too emotional." We always had those words, "You're being too emotional." Or if I was the top of my, because I made the president's, list, and I was getting all these awards, and they're
Mhm,
like, Rhonda, you might be being a little too aggressive." And I'm like,
mhm.
"Aggressive? Like, wait a minute, this is what I do for a living." Like, it was just always interesting to see, and I hear it from my clients that I work with, because also when you think about young girls, it's like the moment we start showing leadership skills, or I know when I was, stop talking so much, stop, you're being conceited, um, stop being so pushy,
You're
and all we
sucking
were
up
doing,
the air in the room?
right, be quiet. I mean, be quiet. We were showing leadership skills. We were going out there, and what happens is, I truly believe a lot of us, and I know I'm just going to speak for myself. We were constantly pushed back down to be quiet and be sit back and let others move forward, until we embrace our own brilliance, and
Yeah.
before we, and that's what I want women to understand that I work with, and men. I do work with men as well, but I want them to understand that it's okay to have a voice, and I want you to use your voice,
Yeah.
and I want you to take pride in it, and I want you to use it, but you can use it authentically by allowing that vulnerability, that warmth, that compassion, and what you bring to the table. That's a strength.
Mm.
That's a strength. And more, when you look at what buyers today are looking for and why people are making decisions, they don't want a traditional salesperson.
No.
They want a consultant. They want someone they can trust. They want someone who cares about them, who is going to take care of them. They want that vulnerability. They
Mhm.
want to know that I'm going to go to the end of the world to make sure that they are taken care of. So buyers are not, they've already made their decision. They've already looked online. They
Mhm.
want an advisor and a consultant. And if you can help them know what they don't know, or help guide them through a process that's going to make their world better, to me, that's what it's all about.
I agree with you 100%. And you're getting some more love from Janice Cooper.
Oh, Janice Cooper, she's an amazing woman. Thank
I'm
you,
gonna have
Janice.
to go back and connect with all these amazing women. Um, it's true, and but are you seeing, like, with women over 50, because many of
Yeah.
them are in some kind of transition? So maybe it's somebody who's leaving a corporate role and starting their own business, or like they have their business, but maybe now that they're starting a podcast or becoming an author or doing something different than they did, like for their 30, 40 years that they did before. Are you seeing like a different approach to sales if they're going through this transitional piece?
I think a lot of people, when they jump out on their own, they think sales is gonna be easy, and when they start to do it, they freak.
Mm-hmm.
I wanna give them the tools so that they can transition and be comfortable in a process that feels good for them, that they can then navigate in a way that's not gonna be complicated.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe my system simplifies the process so that they can share their brilliance. Um, it's not, again, it's a skill. And if you haven't learned it, it's going to be difficult. But what I
Hmm.
love seeing is so many more women going out there and starting their own businesses. And um, I'm just going to recommend that you find people like you, Donna, and take advantage of these programs that are out there that is going to give you the tools so that you can make this next transition the one of the best transitions to own your own life, to own your own destination, to get on that path that
Hmm.
is right for you. And the tools are out there. The tools
Yeah.
are out there. And but just make a commitment to try them, use them, keep the ones that work, get rid of the ones that don't, and try something new. Uh,
That's another big piece that I've been working through, and I'm curious if you have too with clients, is what to let go of.
yeah.
Because, the first reaction is, "Oh, how am I gonna have time?" because
Yeah,
they're thinking of all the things that they're doing, but then I'm like, "Well, what can you get rid of that's not working?"
right.
Are you having that same conversation?
Pretty much, so often we get stuck in, like, I have to do it this way, or these are the people I've been talking to. Well, if your ideal client that you've been going after is not producing, or is not, you're not connecting, you have to be willing to adjust and make that adjustment.
Mhm.
I highly recommend that, you can try it. And if it doesn't work, then you have to make those adjustments. And it is difficult, right? We get on a certain path. It's like, I don't want to path. This is where I thought I was going.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, I'll quote Brene Brown, it's okay to fail forward. And
Mhm.
it's, what you want to know is like, well, that's great. You've just discovered that this is not your client. So let's go focus on somebody else
Yes.
that's going to benefit from you, that's going to love you, that's going to take what you have and is going to grow from that, because that's what we need to be doing out here, right? We need to be giving
Yeah.
all of this information. That's where I am. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
how much is up in here and how much can I get back out to as many amazing people out there that need it,
Mhm.
that's going to help benefit them and their future moving forward.
And
Um,
you do have a bunch of information available on your website, so I just wanna mention a few things. You have some free resources, the 5 steps that will elevate your sales game, and then you have, build your network to grow your business, which is a mini course, and sales tips to grow and thrive in your business, another mini course, and a community. And then she's got some programs and coaching on there. And then her new program is the Your Sales Strategy Simplified.com, and a very affordable option to learn how to do this from somebody who cares about you and knows what she's doing. My favorite combination. And yeah, this has been incredible. I can't believe we've gone through a half an hour, and I love to see all the comments from the audience with love for Rhonda. So, connect with each other in the chat. And I like to end these conversations with a wisdom bomb,
oh,
something
okay.
short and actionable that people can take with them.
One of my favorite things, thank you. And this has been a pleasure. So thank you, Donna. And the Your Sales Strategy Simplified is my newest self-paced program that I just launched. So take a look at it. If you have any questions, please reach out. And if you want to do a discovery call, I'm always available to that. I love talking to people about the program and what fits. But my takeaway, or something I'd like to give as my last one, is a theory that I did not come up with, but it's called CANI.
Mhm,
CANI, and it's constant and never ending improvement. And one of the areas that I feel has helped me get to where I currently am is constantly trying to improve what I'm doing, not to constantly look at other people. What are they doing?
mhm,
But how can you personally constantly and never ending continue to prove where you are today? Can you learn something new? Can you add something to what you're doing to make your life better, your family better, your business better? But constantly trying to improve, constantly be learning something new. Like, I'm always out on TED Talks, listen
mhm.
to TED Talks and what are they saying and what can I pick up? And then that's the reason why I started the self-paced program, because that's where the trends were going. But if I
Yeah,
wasn't listening, and I wasn't looking at continually improving what I'm doing and reaching more people that can't afford my live program that I offer, but wanted to do something self paced, this is what it is. So
mhm.
think about what you can do to constantly improve your current life, where you are, and how to get to the next step.
That's amazing advice. Thank you. And thank you for joining us
Oh,
today.
thank
And
you.
you could reach Rhonda at rhondaburns.com, or this is her program. And she's also on the Real 50 Over 50 website. And we will be back tomorrow with a wisdom panel on belonging. And next week is our 100th interview. So please come back for that, because we're going to have a little celebration around it. And other than the holidays this year, which happen to fall on Wednesdays, we are here every Wednesday till at least next June, because I think the next available interview is July. So have a happy Wednesday, everybody, and we will see you next week. I mean, tomorrow. And thank you, Rhonda. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.